Big Dave Meltzer, in the Wrestling Observer newsletter today, said that the Wembley Stadium registrations were averaging 1,500 new ones per day since last week, which would indicate well over 55,000 people had requested codes for the London pre-sale. That was at press time, so we're thinking of kind of like late last night. Effectively, that's that is massive, but it was what we were saying last time, getting over 50,000 and getting to that point. Tickets, gives them 2 days of the sale on that before it goes on general sale, doesn't it? In terms of other news on there at the moment, we've got
well, before that, what do you think on that? Like that? Is that fair maths? So like this is the literal Observer here. Please don't take down our YouTube Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. But like I've got the actual quote from the Observer itself, and he said as of time he's printed this, so this was the 17th. So as the time he's written this part of the Observer, well over 50,000 people had requested codes for the London pre-sale. And they were told that 1,500 new ones per day since then, which would indicate 55,000 at press time. So there you go. By the time he actually printed the Observer this morning, that's the number Dave says, 55,000. Like, do you buy that? Like 1,500 a day sounds like a lot. Like that can't carry on forever. Like,
no,
I've seen people doing those maths, and it's like, no, you'd sell out 2 Wembleys if it carried on at that rate to the 5th of May.
Yeah, mate, they wouldn't leave the fucking cut. They wouldn't leave the stadium. They'd be running there most weeks. Fucking dynamite at Old Trafford. And no, it's obviously it's what is the peak for this? Is it 60,000 for this? It feels like that's where it's heading up to. And but these, what does this then translate into? And there's all the various variable factors of this. Is how many of them are sort of ticket reseller bots and stuff like that who are just looking to get it for the resale market. My impression is that Clash at the Castle had a similar sign up, and in the end they sold, I want to say, around 33,000 on the first day. Part of the reason was the cost as well. Like, in the UK, it's been a cost of living crisis going on for quite some time. Can't remember when we used to pay normal prices for energy, but there we are. And so I think, for me, that played a factor into how many individual tickets people. So they're more like to buy for themselves than buy for others. Whereas some people, I imagine for this, the actual fervor for getting these tickets is going to be a really big deal for this kind of, because it's more unique than Clash at the Castle for me. Like WWE are a regular presence, but I know it was a stadium show, whereas this is AEW's first one and it's a stadium show, and you're expecting it to be pretty big. So I'm expecting the demand for it. I mean, I said, like, I think it's going to be like a mammoth opening day sale. I think I'll say it. I mean, I think it will clear 50,000. How much more it does beyond that, like, I think it taps out around 75. But like, it does feel like there is massive interest for it. And then again, with
more and more casuals, like more and more, like even today, like I asked for FPL advice from James of Planet FPL.
Oh yes,
on his live stream today, and he was like, "Oh, do us a favor, Ben. What are the tickets for AEW All In?" The fact he even knew what it was shocked me. Like, he's not a hardcore wrestling fan, and I've heard, like, the last week or so, like, different more casual people I know in my life asking about it, like we've been saying on Spotlight on previous weekend shows. There's that element to it too. It's not just going to be us, lad, is it? There's all of them that's going to be interested too.
Which, considering the last set of ratings for Dynamite aren't good, like they're around like 90,000, like on ITV,
isn't it? Like
it's going to mammothly fluctuate.
But it's small numbers.
Yeah, it's not big numbers. However, it's consistent numbers, and I don't think it costs ITV a lot in order to bring it in. That's an interesting thing to see how long that deal lasts for. And is this being done is it being like the ITV involvement is stuff I still wait to see, but then the entire TV idea of this, because by all accounts, All Out is happening. So if that's happening the week after, and that's the consensus at the moment, and that's going to be a pay-per-view because that's a Labor Day weekend in the States, like, I'm still waiting for this to, I'm assuming that at this point it's going to be on TV various networks, as long as it doesn't end up on something like DAZN, for the love of Christ, because no fucker's going to see that. Yeah. In other news on there, Will Ospreay has sparked up with a few ideas for what should be happening and who should be on the All-In card. He said on here, obviously, this is an AEW show. The priority should be Tony Khan's talent, but I do hope it's about variety, because I think if you're a finger in a bunch of pies, you're reaching out to every market of wrestling fan and bringing it to Wembley on there, which is clear. I want in on this as well. Obviously, nothing has been led to believe that there's going to be other promotions involved with this, whether it be New Japan, Noah, AAA, DDT. Obviously, you're going to have Forbidden Door, which is, this is going to be happening 2 months after that. That's June 24th. So what are the big matchups for that? Are you going to have any involvement there? My personal feeling as time goes on is you've got to be really, really selective with people who aren't AEW, bringing them in. Leads on to, like, I think a lot of the stuff about when you said about like the British star. For me, as time goes on, the British star of this you need to come out thinking of Jamie Hayter. That appears to be by far and away the kind of choice for this. Having Ospreay on the card would be amazing, but what do you think?
Well, I think it ties it. I mean, I kind of just add these in as just like little quick stories. Like, so there's the Will Ospreay, has been talking about it. Soraya's been talking about it. She's been in the news as well.
Oh yeah.
She wants she said something about the fact that if she doesn't get booked for the show, she's going to slap Tony Khan. So yeah. I mean, Tony Khan could probably take one for the team there. Hasn't called him Britt Baker. I saw there was a news story out with them trying to get their dream opponents for Wembley as well. I just think it's interesting in general that, like, people are being asked these questions and they've got to answer them. But, like, on the Ospreay one, for me, like, I get what he's got to say, that as he wants it to be a variety show, but of course he wants to get on the show. I mean, I think my position remains unchanged. I want this to be an AEW show, but I get why Will Ospreay's kind of got to say what he's got to say. Saraya, on the other hand, she'll be wheeled out. She'll be doing all kinds of media runs, I think, in the lead into this one. I think we probably got to resign ourselves to the fact, as Gareth said on Spotlight, she probably, speaking of Jamie Hayter, probably beats Jamie Hayter at All In, as Platt says here. Jamie Savage with Britt Hogan tagging along. I don't know who Paige is in or Saraya is in that setup. She the $1 Million Man. She Andre. I'm not sure, but she's one of them.
Kind of like Andre, really, when you're thinking about it and doing comparisons from a kind of work perspective as well. I mean, yeah, they're all going to say it. They're all going to want on the show. If they don't, then what the fuck are they in the company? Like, really, this is the one. However, they do need to be very, very selective. Ospreay is one of the few exceptions you make. Okada is like another one as well. Beyond that, Vikingo. They would be, beyond that, I can't think of it. No one else magically springs to mind of going, you have to have them on that show. Sure, it'd be nice in some occasions, but you haven't got the time. And if they should learn with this show as well, go, actually, WWE are running stadium shows and they've kind of got the match order stuff down to a fine art. And as part of that, they know that 8 matches generally is like the way to go for this. You give everything time. Everything does feel that bit more important. That day one of WrestleMania just gone, of WrestleMania 39, is something they should kind of model for, like, how to kind of structure a show on that. But yeah, the idea of Saraya defeating like Jamie Hayter is very depressing, really. Whereas it feels like I'd be happy if Jamie Hayter lost the title in some bullshit way to Saraya before then, and she came in as the heel champion, losing to Jamie Hayter. That feels like that's a much better way to go.